asked him that once, and he was surprised she asked, like the so plain it embarrassed them both. The spoon threw its back at to boil her own water, while a paid woman stood 40 feet away. Sanaa used the quarter hour to finish the trays and put the polish away, and wiped down the cast was gone, and the flower tin sat there in a wisp of pink, not quite hidden behind it, if you knew to look, which no one did. Then she took her coat down off the hook. The envelope would know would be, but she took it out anyway, the way you check a stove you know it off, and she stood by now with the new light come fly across the frozen garden, and read the last paragraph one more time. The house feels bigger without me. She thought about crossing it out. She had a pen. She could cross out the whole paragraph and reseal the flap with a lick and drop into the mailbox on a letter that said only the safe things, the $30 and the mother's name, and the head down, mouth shut. They let him read things in, and he'd feel nothing to fear, and the arrangement of their marriage would go on being the arrangement, and she would be safe inside it, the way she job, understood by no one, and asked for. She didn't cross it. She stood there in the cold kitchen, and she left the spoon to read. She'd tell herself it was the singing cat, or Evelyn saying crushing, like it was a crime committed against itself. Really, it was simpler than any of that. She read something through, and she was so tired of writing things that weren't. Scratching out the one true line felt like scratching out the last light in a house she was trying to find her way through. She pressed it shut with the heel of her hand. You leaving them for me? Sanaa turned, was in the doorway again, her saucer, the pearls, the glasses, looking not at Sanaa but at the spoons. Oh man, the silver, leaving it out or putting it up? Putting it up, just Sanaa put on. Just letting it dry. His eyes came off the spoons and onto the coat, onto the corner of the sink. They rested there, a beat longer than a woman's eyes should rest on another woman's nail. Prison, Evelyn said. Not a question. She had the household file the way she had everything, filed and priced. Your husband. Sanaa's face did the thing it did, which was nothing, which cost her. Evelyn looked at her own rings. For a second, Sanaa braced for the pity or the son the woman could deal out about people who married the wrong men and reaped what they sowed. Evelyn said instead, long enough. The old woman, she turned to go, and at the door she stopped, and looking back she said, nail that on the corner, box eats them, is late, or not at all. Use the one by the pharmacy, a pause a letter you want him to get. Then she was gone down the hall, the saucer whispering, and I stood alone in the cold with the true things sealed in her pocket, and no idea, none. Not the smallest thread of the letter she was about to walk 2 extra blocks to her would never reach the man she'd sealed it at all. She put up the silver. She got her cardigan from the pantry. She turned off the kitchen light, the flour tin in an inch of water. The pain went on quietly dying, where no one would find. The box swallowed the letter clap, and Sanaa pressed her palm flat against the slot after. You're not sure is locked. 2 extra blocks. She walked them. The envelope was gone now. Dropping down into a dark she couldn't see, and she stood on the curb where a woman with a bust catch should stand. The box. She stepped aside. She told herself it was a good letter. Told herself the true line at the bottom, that Adrian would read the part about the singing. Understand it wasn't a complaint, only a fact. The way weather is a fact. She started toward the stop. Halfway there, she stopped telling herself anything. The letter rode a canvas back through the back of the pharmacy, then a bend. It was already too late for the thing it was meant to do, though no one on the route knew, because 2 states over, in a facility she'd never seen. It had come for Adrian at 4 that morning. That was the point. 3 weeks back, sitting across from a man in a gray suit, who slid it over slow across his knuckles until he stopped. Names, dates, a route through a shift or a favor, cooperation, in exchange, a transfer, a new number, a clean sheet in a new place where nobody knew what he traded. He went to the bank before the yard broke. He didn't leave a forwarding line for his wife. The men who moved him didn't ask why it weren't on the form, and in the mailroom later that morning, a clerk named Dwayne worked to stack the height of his forearm and hated every inch of it. The system had flagged Adrian Mitchell as transferred. The system wanted the incoming mail rerouted or returned. Dwayne keyed the number off Adrian's old bracelet ID against the new intake list, and the number he typed was 1 digit shy of the number the screen wanted. A 6 where the field expected a 5. The kind of miss a tired man makes at the bottom of a stack he started before coffee. The screen took it. The screen didn't argue. The screen matched the number he typed to a living inmate in the same block, and it printed a new label, and it slapped the reroute on a bundle of mail addressed to Adrian Mitchell and sent it down the chute under a stranger's cell number. Cell 214, Sayo GP. Ji-Hoon was reading when the letters came. He read the way some men lift weights, for the discipline of it, and he read through the paperback twice already, because the cart hadn't come around. A guard pushed the bundle through the slot, and it fanned across the floor. 5, 6 envelopes, a woman's handwriting moving across every one. He didn't touch them for a while. He knew they weren't his. Nothing was addressed to him. He got no letters. That fact sat in the cell with him like a piece of furniture he'd stopped noticing, and now here was a stack of them in a hand that curved and leaned. The ink pressed hard enough to feel from across the room. He gathered them. He squared the edges. He read the name on the front. Adrian Mitchell, a number that wasn't his, under a number that was. The next morning, he walked the top envelope to the guard at the block desk and set it down. This isn't mine, he said. 6 words. He rarely spent more. The guard glanced at it. Number's yours. The name isn't. Talk to the mailroom. The guard slid it back across the desk with one finger, already looking past him at the next man in line. Ji-Hoon took it back to the cell. He set the bundle on the shelf, spun out like books, and left it there. 2 days. He wasn't a man who opened another man's mail. He'd killed the impulse to be curious about other people